Well, guys, I'm sorry that this episode has been delayed by a day, but we had to wait for the winter solstice to pass.
It was too cold. There was a major technical difficulty, and I was telling that I was basically Neil deGrasse Tyson at that point, and I was telling him that it could be the electricity in the air. Maybe you live around like a lot of trees. It's New Jersey. Things happen all the time there for some reason.
God just doesn't want you to record today. So.
I know but it's, what temperature is it now? It's 27, still cold, but it's the morning, the sun's out. I think that we can.
So basically, when it hits sunset, we're gonna have to stop this recording because we
Yeah,
it just won't allow for nature.
Well,
doesn't want us to record. Today.
Like we'll continue the next day, or
Right. There's gonna be a
taking,
part 2 after.
Yeah, and we're taking a winter break as well. So, oh boy,
We're so fucked.
we really are. Oh boy, what? Oh boy, it's too cold to record.
Gotta eat like Lao Gun Mai just to warm this shit up.
Hey guys, I also our newest sponsor, Lao Gun Ma Faiche 100. There you go.
I'm mad because we were making a joke last night. Like, what if it's like the bad juju and like you put it so close to the mic?
It's like it starts like
So
static.
now we're gonna have bad audio.
I look. I also have an empty bottle of for Peacemaker. There you go.
We're gonna need that after this episode.
I need that every time I'm gonna edit this shit because it's depressing as fuck. I feel like the fucking audio diaries from Avatar when that guy was like speaking like this might be the last time they're about to. That's how it feels like every time.
I feel like Alfonso right now, like waiting for this weather to pass is very
scary. The analytics on YouTube is very scary. Nobody sticks around to the end.
I wanted to convey that YouTube is sucking all the likes and views from our podcast.
And then you just see me like like editing, like
While looking at a scar on your forehead for some reason.
That's me looking at the view count.
That's like the copyright strike every time. It's just like a scar on your forehead.
I don't even want to think about that after DC fandom. That was a fucking that
DC
was
fandom
training.
was a fucking I don't know what to do about that.
That was a mess. Guys, check out our DC fandom and Disney Plus Day reactions because that was a lot of work and kind of illegal to do, I guess. So,
but it was so stupid because you were right. Like everybody else like does shit like that and they don't get strike for it. It's like why the fuck they picking on us?
it's like the fair use. It's like it's really like dodgy. I mean, you got to transform it. Put it at the bottom of the screen perhaps or wherever it fits well. I mean, but some people put audio too. It's like, yeah, I don't know. And they're not like credited. They didn't like ask the actual like person, like, can I use this, whatever, and they'll take royalties. So I don't understand. It's one of those things where it's like, on and off, I guess. It's just the algorithm.
I was about to call the ACLU or some shit for like discriminatory
Yeah, I know.
charges against YouTube.
We got that. We got this. Wait, so we got discrimination. We have the winter solstice, and I don't know, some fucking bad juju or Laugan Ma.
Some third element we don't know about.
Well, yeah,
it's curse. The curse of Michael Myers.
The curse of Michael Myers. Hashtag plug.
Oh my god, we're so fucked.
We're so sus.
Welcome, nerds, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram, your destination for entertainment and pop culture, where we talk about all things comic related, like the latest episode of James Gunn's Peacemaker on HBO Max, which is starting to build popularity with DC fans since the first 3 episodes came out. It's a wild show. It's got everything you'd expect from James Gunn: action, comedy, and deep family moments. Akram, what were your thoughts on episode 4?
I thought, it's a really revealing episode. Obviously, some of the things that we were predicting the last review that we did kind of like came into fruition. But I still have some theories that I think remain true, and we'll see a little bit later on. I felt like the episode was really fun. A lot more insights on like Peacemaker's background, also his father too. And I think really the spotlight was Vigilante here. Judo Master was great too. We'll talk a little bit about him later. And that reveal at the end too was what do you kids say now these days? Sus. That was sus. So we'll talk more about that.
You make it sound like we're old as fuck.
Yeah.
We're only like 25.
Hello, fellow young kids. So yeah, it was really fun. So tell us what you thought about it.
Yeah, great points. I definitely think Freddie Stroma was the spotlight of this episode. Just more a vigilante. I thought his character was great. We definitely get more bonding moments between Peacemaker and Adebayo. And actually, she kind of like shined in this episode too. So it's kind of like they had like moments where like her character is starting to grow into this more badass character. But yeah, so more insights on what the butterflies are, and more insights about Peacemaker's dad too. So apparently he has the well. So when Peacemaker goes to his dad's house, he's getting all his helmets and shit, and then we see a glimpse of the White Dragon armor, which is actually I don't think Peacemaker's dad is White Dragon in the comics. I think it's a different guy, but that costume was very accurate to the comic lore. So what did you think about it?
Yeah, that was so crazy. I love like DC. I have to give it to them. They do, I feel at least, they do a great job in like now the costumes. I always liked the Batfleck costume. A lot of people were like hesitant about it because it kind of looked like a sack type of thing, a potato sack material. But I loved it. I was like, obviously, I didn't expect for them to go to that length that like, oh, he actually was like the super villain. Yeah, it's an amalgamation because the times change. And by the time Peacemaker was like one of the very first characters, at least like introduced before DC was even made, and then they bought the rights for that character, something like that, and then they transferred him over to DC and they gave him like a new origin and stuff. So around that time, obviously World War II and whatnot. So it makes a lot of sense that they did this change. I love the costume so far. I thought it was I just really liked that. I like also the
Very scary.
it's very scary, and I wanted to convey that. Yeah, that place, like I like that they talked about a little bit more vigilante, like what that armory was. It's like it's just funny. I don't know. I like the little like callbacks to like Batman. There's so many callbacks to Batman as well here. In the same house where we saw the White Dragon costume as well. So the old guy, I think, is the MVP, the old neighbor. He's basically YouTube with us right now. Like, yeah, just make a conversation. Your views are down. But no, it was really cool. The dad also was like I wonder if he's like really powerful as well. Like I wonder if he could get in a fight with Vigilante and like really like fuck him
Clement and Mearns even said like because like he was talking about like Vigilante, like he was saying like Peacemaker's dad could like kill him or some shit. I was like, whoa. So I was like, is he like trained to, or is like does he just know his way around a fight or some shit? Because he was kind of like hesitant too in the jail scene when like Vigilante's whooping ass, and that's my favorite scene in that whole episode was when Vigilante sat down and started roasting all these like redneck guys. I think that was like my favorite part of this whole show. But yeah, who knows? I kind of wish we would have seen like him and Vigilante have like a fight or something. I don't know. Maybe they're saving that for later. But I love that like they talk so much about like racism in this show, because it's like that's one thing I will give about like DC. Like even though like they're kind of like inconsistent with their shit, like, unlike Marvel, they can do so much more. They can talk about like darker things that Marvel can't really touch on too much. Like racism or like sexism, whatever. So I think that's one thing that's DC's strength. But yeah, what else did you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that and you got to give credit to some of the creators like James Gunn also. I like that DC's taking this approach where it's like more free. They're given like, and I think that they learned their mistake. I felt like Justice League was like a turning point where they're like, oh yeah, shit, there's so much controversy surrounding this, and plus the director that we hired, there was problems recently. So yeah, I felt like James Gunn is awesome. He makes like certain characters more relevant. At first, like in Suicide Squad, you wouldn't like really like Peacemaker, right? But now we're starting to understand, and I talked about this a little bit back then. Now we're starting to understand also. He's just trying to be loved, right? The double piece is just facade. Everything's a facade with him. Gathering as many helmets as he can, really, to mask something, right? Obviously, there's a point like for defense capability stuff, but yeah, it's kind of like a metaphor, right? And so yeah, I love the fact, and then we had the Batman too. I think that they gave Matt Reeves free range to do whatever he wants, and it's PG-13, 2 hours 55 minutes. So I can't wait to see what type of themes he brings in to this as well to make it relevant. Yeah, I feel like Peacemaker's really relevant. Also with Amanda Waller's daughter Adebayo, it's funny to see how like Peacemaker, no matter what he does, he's trying to like impress his dad, but he keeps failing, and it doesn't really come natural to him, right? But Adebayo, she's like a natural at manipulating people, right? And so she did that with Vigilante a little bit later on when she kind of like planted the seed, like, oh yeah, Vigilante, you probably should kill Peacemaker's dad. So what did you think about that moment?
Well, it's funny because I feel like she's not intentional with manipulation. Like Amanda Waller, obviously, like they're two different people. Um, but I think she just comes off as a very empathetic person, and that she's not, like she said, she's not cut out for this line of work. And like Harcourt even like agree with her. But yeah, when she shot Judo Master, I just thought that was so funny. But I guess you could say she does because she cares for Peacemaker, you know. So it's
I
not
think
like
so,
because
yeah.
like she's, you know, like Amanda Waller, like she's like this cold, heartless person that just wants to like get her way. I think she just wants to protect people, and I think that was a good point that that Harcourt made too. Like it's good that she felt guilt about shooting something, so she's not like this cold, empty shell that Amanda Waller is. But I think she's just funny. She adds like a very optimistic side to this team. Like even like John Economos, I thought was funny. But yeah, that's crazy that we got that reveal at the end with Merns. So you had a theory that you mentioned earlier. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so I had this theory that the butterflies, like we talked about last episode, the butterflies, their intentions aren't really like something that's insidious, like they just want to take over. I think that they just want a new place to live. Even if they're like taking over humans, right? We don't know the full story. So I think that they're not all too bad. I think that actually Mern's, right? Mern's character, um, I feel like he's kind of like a traitor to the butterflies. I feel like he's like working closely with Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller knows the deal, but there's something that he wants to get out of it, maybe to rule the butterflies or something like that. I don't know. There's kind of like I got a feeling there will be like a civil war. Maybe there was a civil war in like their planet. Again, this is original creation, so we don't really have much to go off based on the comics and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely think that Peacemaker will eventually find out with his new buddy that he smoked weed with, right? That butterfly in a jar. He'll probably find a way to communicate. So yeah,
Why do
something's going on. What do you think?
why do you think he saved that butterfly? I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
that's interesting. Well, you see, that's the thing. He's not like his father. And he's not like them. Out of all of them, believe it or not, I think he's actually one of the best because he is almost like a dumb guy and he's like kind of naive. He's just like a big baby, right? And everything's a facade. So I feel like in a way, peace is not all about killing. And he realizes that, right? But he can't let that facade die. So he saved that butterfly because he noticed, like, okay, there must be something going on under the surface, right? And maybe I should just let it be. And so somehow, in James Gunn fashion, he'll probably find out the truth by accident in a hilarious
Mm,
way, right? And everyone's gonna say like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Oh, and he found out that yeah, they're actually good guys or something like that. I
mm.
really think that's why. I think he's just a naive person. He's not really bad. He did what people told him to do. Like Amanda Waller said, do this at all costs. So he killed Rick Flag, right? In a way, he kind of regrets it.
I was
So
gonna say I think he's going through major changes because of Rick Flag. Um, because in Suicide Squad, he was definitely more of like a Terminator character. So he was kind of he didn't care like about like like he even said like he'll kill women and children just to get peace, whatever. But now like you can see like he's being hesitant, like where that one scene I think it was like episode 2 or 3, like where he's trying to snipe the family and then he's pausing right before the kill shot. So I think, and then you have like the scenes where like he's dancing and shit, and like he's just remembering like Rick Flag, and then how Rick Flag was like, "Oh, Peacemaker, what a joke, whatever." So I think that really like hit hard with him. So I feel like because of that incident, he's kind of like changing psychologically, and then like seeing his dad again is changing him as a person because he doesn't want to be like his dad. He wants to be like his own. He doesn't want to be like associated with his dad. He doesn't want to be like seen as like a racist or like this like mass murdering dude. But what do you think about it?
yeah, absolutely. And I think that the old man, the neighbor, he had a point, like he's saying, like, but you are a villain, basically. And it's very revealing. Everything, like little moments in the show. I feel like this is like writing gold, right? It's like it's a hilarious show. you probably will think, oh, it's not serious, whatever. But look deep down on the surface. Look at the little subtle cues that they give, right? Or the little notes of dialogue. And so like that moment, he's like, he kind of feels like pissed off, but like, yeah, you basically are a villain and you're not trying to be, or maybe you are trying to be. I don't know. What you're doing is wrong. So he's confused, and he's really a good guy. I mean, like he's dancing, right? It's just such like a naive, like cutesy thing, like a dumb thing.
If anything, he's more like an anti-hero, I would say.
I'd say, but like, tragically, it wasn't supposed to go down that route. Even for him to like kill a lot of people, it wasn't supposed to go down that route. I feel like deep down, he probably would have like, if nobody told him what to do, he'll probably be like a type of like a Batman character or something like that. Like, no killing, absolutely. So yeah, I feel like his dad really fucked him up at the end of the day, obviously, and it has a lot to do with Amanda Waller's daughter as well. Like that's like one of the themes there. It's like in a way, can you inherit like the evil from your parents, right? And so like, she's kind of like on and off. Adebayo here was like really like, oh shit, there was some moments I was like, oh, what the hell? And I think Adebayo actually knows more than she's letting on. And that's why she killed Judo, or she tried to kill Judo Master. So the same thing with Peacemaker. It's like, it's tragic. It really is sad. I think that it's going to come to a head for like probably Adebayo, I think pretty soon. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I just have so many questions.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was just thinking about like what Judo Master was saying too at the end, like the butterflies aren't, and then blank, we got that left out. So I think your theory might be relevant to Mern's too. Like maybe like his specific butterfly is kind of like a rogue butterfly, because like why else would he tell Peacemaker to take the shot when that's his own species, right? Unless maybe he got infected post sniper, whatever you want to call it, and then maybe like the butterflies are just becoming more, I don't know, of a threat, and they're just like infecting their way into certain people, and that's why Amanda Waller wants to contain it. But it's so funny because there's so much like the starfish, like the Starro things too. So it's just kind of like similar in a way. But I think next episode we're gonna see more about what happened with Peacemaker's brother that we saw in this episode, because that was a big reveal that he murdered his own brother, and that was in his file. So maybe we'll see like, because his dad is very like manipulative too, so maybe we'll see like more of their relationship and how they got to where they are. I wonder where we're gonna see Freddy, or I keep calling Freddy Freddy Stroma, Vigilante next episode, because Hardcore did get him out of jail. So it's so funny because he's kind of like his own thing too in this show. But I don't know. What are your predictions for next episode?
Yeah, I wonder. I felt like it's like a subtle, like it's funny how I can compare this. I compare it like things to like random things just because I've seen it recently. But like, I feel like, what if Harcourt and like I was calling him Freddy, Harcourt and Vigilante kind of had like a thing or whatever? I don't know. It's like weird, but like, did you feel like something? I don't know. It's kind of like
there was a little tension at the end. Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was like I compare
something there. Yeah.
I compare it to what's his name. I would say Basab Malik. What's his name? No, Iron Fist. Remember the lady, the CEO lady, and Iron Fist's like brother from.
Oh, Davos and
yeah, it was like kind of like you could kind of feel like something.
The sister's name, yeah.
It was like something like that. Like here, I kind of feel like there's like this type of relationship that could happen, maybe. So I'm not too sure because she's not like really into Peacemaker. Oh, I also had another theory. Hear me out. But this is a stupid theory. But what if Harcourt was actually Peacemaker's sister? Okay, what I just
that would be weird as fuck.
But look, because she talked about her father, right? In episode 1 or episode 3, she talked about her father. Like she like, what if there was like something going on in the background, right? Because we don't really know. We just know, okay, rough background type kind of a badass character. Okay, remember what I just said? And we will see. All right, that's like thrown out there.
We're going to pin this comment in the YouTube section.
Sometimes I just have to like just spit something out. And
the craziest theories are often the ones that are right.
Maybe Bakudo will make a return to the series. Right. I don't know. But yeah, I think don't you want to bounce your essay? I think that
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. No, I think that really we'll see more of what's his name? I keep calling him Morris. The butterfly guy. Yeah. I got a feeling we'll Who?
We're so bad with names in this show.
Well, I got a feeling we're gonna see something. I hope we get more like lore on the butterflies. I hope that it kind of ties into like DC canon in the comics. I think that there's kind of gonna be like this faction war, like not a faction war, but it's like you have Amanda Waller's team, you have the butterflies, and you have something going on with Peacemaker's dad. Maybe he'll escape somehow or come out.
And also, you have we didn't see the two detectives in the show from the beginning, so I wonder if they're
Right.
still like, because I mean, like,
They're
Peacemaker's dad was
yeah.
gonna like rat him out to the detective, so I wonder if they're still like investigating what's going on, if they're gonna find out like what these
Mhm.
Black Ops guys are doing. So that's like another element to the show that
Yeah, and it ends so fast too. Sometimes you're having so much fun and it just ends so fast, and you have
I
another
know
question.
it's such a roller coaster. The show, I love it. I think I
Yeah.
think the strength of this show is that it doesn't take itself too seriously, like the bigger DC movies. So you can just kind of have fun with it, but you can still like sprinkle like elements of like narrative in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really just like that the writing. It's just so funny. It's like one of those things where it's like it reminds me of like Superbad, like at the first time when I watched Superbad or something like that, where it's like the dialogue felt so natural and just so funny. And John Cena apparently is a great improviser, and a great guy on set as well. Everyone has like a great relationship, and they also have like different sides to read, like alternatives and stuff like that. Like the writing is so good, and I think that's why a lot of people are enjoying it. A lot of people also think it's too goofy. It's not really what they wanted. But
I was gonna say like this show
Yeah.
has like the energy of like Kick-Ass, or, like
Yeah,
Kick-Ass 2.
true.
Like, because Vigilante is kind of like this, like he's like a better version of Dave.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's still goofy, but he could still like whoop somebody's ass, or just I don't know. That's just like the energy I'm getting from the show. It's so funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I'm kick ass. Yeah, no, I
More like ass kick.
yeah. Yeah, I can't wait till next episode. I hope you guys stick with us. We have episode 1 to 3. Check that out. And we also have our John Cena review. It's kind of a review of Logan Ma.
We're reviewing John Cena.
Well, check that out as
We're
well.
reviewing his Mandarin.
Check that out. I can't wait for you guys to see other episodes too. We have a news discussion. Apparently, Dylan wants us to do a news discussion pretty soon, so we got a
When
news
the ice
discussion.
defrosts, then you can check us out.
Yeah, when there's like no dew on the grass, we're safe to come out. It's kind of like Bird Box or whatever. It's like
No dew on the grass.
yeah, we get it's a particular time. You know what I mean? When the birds are
You have to
flying.
check your thermometers every time like you see a new episode. It's good.
Exactly. In the summer, we're gonna kick it off. But now we have to hibernate. So. But
We're
yeah.
together nuts for the winter.
Yeah. Well.
But
Take
thank
us
you
away.
guys for sticking around for our episode review of Peacemaker episode 4. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. But until then, guys, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.